Hi, this is Lewis from SoFly, and in this video I'm going to give you an in-depth overview of WPL import. So let's get started. In this video I'm not going to show you every single feature of WPL import, but I'll show you many of them. So in step 1, you can choose to upload a file from your computer, or you can choose to use a file you already uploaded to your server, or the best, download from a URL. And the reason this one I think is the best is because if this file at this URL is updated now, you can configure WPL import to run again later automatically on a schedule and constantly be checking this URL for updates and automatically creating, deleting, updating posts on your site accordingly. So let's download this file. And now let's import data from this file into vehicle listings. This right here is a feed of, I think, 43 different cars we have for sale. So we go new items, vehicle listings. We could choose to import to existing items too. Let's say we already had some listings imported and we just wanted to import new prices or something. We could import to existing items. But for now, we're going to do new items and continue to step 2. Now in step 2, it shows you basically all the different elements in your XML file, and you can choose which ones are imported. Right now, WPL imports auto-detected the additional photo elements to be imported, but that's not correct. We want to import the add element. So we just click add, and we have one ad for each vehicle in the file, 43 ads. WPL import's now going to create one post for each ad. If we want to import just the company name or VIN or something else, we could do that, but we want to import the entire vehicle advertisement. And also we can add in filtering options as well. So let's say we only want to import vehicles that, let's say, have a year of newer than, let's say, 2010. So we'll select, let's see, what is it? The YRS element contains the year. And we want to make sure that year is greater than, let's say, 2010. And we hit add rule, apply filters to XPath, and now it's only going to import 6 vehicles because only 6 are newer than 2010. But in this case, we want to import all 43, so we'll just get rid of those filtering options right here and re-click add, and now we're going to import 43 of the vehicles. Now let's continue to step 3. Now, assuming you already watched the original overview video, you know that WPL imports fully drag and drop. So we just drag and drop to compose our title, content, images, custom fields, etc. So let's set the title to the year, and then I guess the make and the model. Yeah, let's do year, make, and model. So in this case, we have 2004 Volkswagen Golf. And for our content, we'll use the description here, right here. And let's preview that, and here's how it looks. Now, let's say you had HTML code in your description. You'd want to check this box. If you want to keep the line breaks in your description in case your description has many multiple lines, you could check this box as well. For now, for this feed, these settings are fine. Now we can import images. So there are other videos in the documentation section on how to do this, all the different ways you can do it. The basics are you just put the image URL in the box or the image file name in the box. So to import all the images, we could just drag all of the image URLs over. Now there are easier ways to do this. WPL import has template syntax, so we could use what's called a for each loop to loop through each of these, and tutorials on that are in the documentation section. But for now, we'll just keep it simple, and we'll just say we'll do 5 photos. We could type this in manually too if we wanted. 5, or we could just do 6. Why not? Now let's set our custom fields. So our custom fields are things like, for vehicles, obviously they have a title, but they are in content, but they also have things like a price, a manufacturer, a model. All those are custom fields. So we import those in the custom fields section. WPL import automatically detects the custom fields, so we just click see detected fields, and here are the possible fields we can import to. Now it also shows you the possible values. In our case, from this test listing is where it's pulling the values. We want to set these values from our XML feed though. So the manufacturer in this case is Volkswagen. The model is right here. And I'm just dragging and dropping to set all of these. Body type, do we have that? We do have that. Mileage. Oh, I set the price to the mileage. That's a mistake. Where's the price? Here's the price. The year, where's the year? Fuel type. Exterior color. Interior color. And then these are just default values for some of the theme fields, so I'll just leave them as is. No banner. It's not sold. It will be in the slideshow. And the VIN. We do have the VIN in this feed. Or the vehicle ID. Here we go. So now we've set up our custom fields. And then one more thing. I'll show you how to do this in the content box. The price has 4 zeros after the end of it. That's just the way it is in our XML file, and that's unfortunate. It shouldn't have the zeros at the end. So what we're going to do is use an advanced feature of WPL import, the ability to execute PHP functions to replace those 4 zeros with nothing. So we'll use the PHP function string replace, str_replace. I'll replace .0000 with blank space, just two quotes. And this is the syntax for using custom PHP functions. There are more detailed tutorials on this on the website. And let's preview what that looks like. Now it takes the zeros out of the price. So now let's copy and paste this into the price custom field. And now our price will be imported without those extra zeros. Now for taxonomies, categories, and tags, these are things like categories, tags. For vehicles, we have custom taxonomies like price ranges. I'm not going to import any of these now, but this is the way you would do it if you wanted to import those. I could import the features, actually. Do we have any features in this feed? Options. Yeah, let's import the options as features. So we'll say each vehicle listing has multiple options, in this case multiple features, and they're separated by commas, which is the default separator. So we'll just drag this here. And now it'll create features, which will show up over here. Okay, that's how to do taxonomies. And then other options, we don't need to use them now, but we could import them as published, draft. We could choose based on a value in the file. We could change the date. I'm going to post them all now, but we could say make them appear randomly between maybe -2 years and +2 years, and this would schedule the post randomly over this date range. And all the posts with future dates would be scheduled, so they won't appear now. They'd appear when their randomized scheduled date passes. But for now, we just want them all to show up right now. We can allow comments, trackbacks, and pingbacks. All the general WordPress options that you rarely use are in this other options, other vehicle listing options section. So now let's go to step 4. So in step 4, all we have to do is detect a unique key. And what that does is allows WPL import to, if this import's ever run again, to instead of creating duplicate vehicles, to import the data into the vehicles it's already created. So we just click auto detect, and that will generally detect a unique key that's unique for each vehicle. We should check it, and in this case, it is unique. This add ID element right here is unique for every single record in the file, so we are good to go. And then we have some advanced settings that control the import speed, how much server power it's going to use, if we only wanted to import a few of the records. We don't need to use any of those now, so we'll just continue and run this import. Now we're going to be downloading 6 images for each of the 43 records in the file, so that's 250 different images. So I'm going to pause the video now and then come back when the import's complete, because it probably will take a couple of minutes. Okay, it's been a little while and our import is now complete. So let's take a look at those imported vehicle listings. Here they are, and it's imported the images, the price, mileage, all this stuff. If we take a look on the site, here is what one of those listings look like with the images in the gallery. but you're not here to see the site, which is not even finished being built yet. You're here to see WPL import. So let's take a look at some of the other features. Once you've done your import, you can do it again. So let's say you messed up one of the settings. You can just go to Edit Import, and you can, let's say I want to change all the titles to also include the vehicle color, the exterior color. So instead of just your make and model, instead of simply 2004 Volkswagen Golf, we want it to be gray 2004 Volkswagen Golf. So if you look at the vehicle listings right now, they don't have the color in them yet. But once we update our import template, we can then run our import again. And once we do that, it will change the titles accordingly. Now, one important thing to note is that we don't necessarily want WPL import to change everything or overwrite everything, because that's a little bit too slow. We just want to update the titles. So we don't need to create any new posts, delete posts. We only want to update the existing posts, and we only want to update the title. So here you can choose what data is updated when you run an import again. You can only update the data points you specify. For example, if you want to import prices over some products you already have on your site, you can choose to only update, let's say, the price custom field. In our case, we simply want to update the title only. So let's save that. And now when we run the import, all WPL import's going to do is update the title. So this is going to go pretty quick, so I'm not going to pause the video. That's done now, and here are our vehicles now with the updated titles. So one other thing I want to show you is the ability to schedule an import with a cron job. So we've set up this import, and we've ran it, and now let's say we're going to get a new file at this URL every day or every week with the new vehicles in our inventory. We want to automatically have WPL import update our site, create new vehicles. So how do we do that? We use a cron job. So you go to cron scheduling, and WPL import will give you 2 cron URLs. And you have to configure the cron jobs in your web hosting control panel. The way to do that varies on a per host basis, but you basically have to run these 2 URLs. You run this URL every 24 hours if you want new vehicles to be checked for every 24 hours. And then you run this script every 2 minutes. This makes it so WPL import processes the file in small chunks instead of all at once. And it will reduce server load, make sure that even if you're on bad shared hosting, WPL import can process the entire import, even if you have thousands of records in your file. So that is a more in-depth overview of WPL import. And there are more advanced features, more things you can do. And I talk in a lot more detail about each individual feature of WPL import in the documentation section of the website. So go to wplimport.com/documentation, or when you're doing an import, just click the documentation link, and there are many more video tutorials and examples on how to do tons of cool stuff with WPL import. Okay, thank you for watching.